So I've owned the McLaren 720 for a year. Surprisingly to me, I didn't expect to keep it this long, but even more surprising than that, it has turned into my favorite car that I've owned in this class. Now there's a lot of reasons I like it more than some of the other cars, and there's still some things that bother me, don't get me wrong. But overall, the positives outweigh the negatives by a lot. One of the big positives, to be able to drive it on a regular basis, the storage space in this actually is more than you would expect. In this case, it's the front space. Another huge thing for me is the looks of this car. And even though it's been out for quite a while now, and everybody's kind of used to it, it still stands out in a crowd of other supercars. The only things that I think really look better are hypercars, and those should look better. For me, being 6'4", 6'5", the room inside is a huge benefit to this thing, because that is my biggest nemesis with this class of car. Because the Aventador, it was big inside, it was wider inside than this, but there was a huge center console and my legs were really cramped. And if I didn't have my hat pulled all the way down, it would be rubbing the headliner. So little things like this, having the glass above you, it looks amazing. But an added benefit for someone like me is it gives me a couple extra inches of headroom to where I could even not have my hat on all the way and it doesn't rub on it. So that, for a tall person, it's a big benefit. Add to that, the minimalist design of where they placed all the buttons allows way more room for my legs, and it gives me the freedom to kind of move around and get comfortable. And the seats, like they're sport bucket seats, but they don't hug you in so much so that you can adjust a little bit while you're driving, because after about 45 minutes, seats like the Senna seats I had in the other McLaren, they're not comfortable. Your back hurts. You can't adjust how your sitting position is. In this car, I've actually got a little more room that I could lean back if I felt like it, but I prefer the sitting position now. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what, but I sit up just a little bit more. I have a love-hate relationship with the technology. So the love part is all the active aero and the traction control and just how everything drive-wise works. That's the technology that's amazing. Its ability to put the power down for a rear-wheel drive 700 plus horsepower car is insane. Now the hate part is I still have to have my phone somewhere I can see it to use navigation. And that's because I'm out of gas. That's because this has the worst GPS navigation system in any car I've ever owned that has it in it. Like this, I've had older cars that are cheaper cars made by Ford, and I've had, this is like,
please drive to highlighted road.
I struggle to put into words how annoying the navigation system in this car is. The best way I can say it is 90% of the time, it has no clue where I'm at, let alone how to tell me where to drive to get where I want to go. So I don't even use it. I do not take my car off of the Bluetooth screen. And yes, it has to be Bluetooth because there's no Android Auto, there's no Apple CarPlay. It's just Bluetooth. And even worse, I can only have one Bluetooth device connected. So if I have someone with me and they want to listen to music and my phone is paired to where the music plays from, it is multiple pushes of the button that only I know how to use because it's my car and I'm the one doing it. So that has the arrow button, super fun. Like to push the button and make the wing go up while you're just driving. Hit a bump, just driving. But even if it's not up, based off the type of driving you do, the wing will move up and down based off the needs of the car, if it needs more downforce or not. And then if you brake aggressively, it's an air brake. And that is my favorite part. There are sometimes I brake way more aggressive than I need to because I think it looks awesome when it flips up. The doors on this, nothing except a LaFerrari has as cool a doors as this. And the reason I say nothing but a LaFerrari is because these open exactly the same as the LaFerrari. And this has soft close. So you don't have to slam it really hard and worry about it like messing up. and misaligning something. This has more performance than I'll ever need. This is the first car where I didn't immediately put it into the most aggressive driving mode. I did, obviously, at first, and then I realized quickly that I'm not ready for that with this car. I don't want to wreck it. So I spent the first 7 months maybe in comfort mode, just learning the quirks and like the width of the car and like just the feel of when it breaks free, how it grabs it and pulls it back, which with the technology is amazing. But now I drive in sport mode exclusively, and if I want to have a little fun or get some pops in the exhaust or something like that, I'll move over to track. I drive right now with the suspension and track, but if my wife's with me, it gets kicked over to comfort because she doesn't like the stiffness. I don't think I'm chasing the horsepower anymore or 0 to 60 times or top end speeds, because this does it all. I have the luxury 720, and as far as I've been told, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but the biggest difference between the sport or the comfort or the speed or whatever they call the other one is the seats and interior. I like leather. I'm not a huge fan of Alcantara. I've had it. I've realized it's not that great. So I actually like that I have leather seats, leather headliner, leather dash. The one thing I don't have that I wish I would have found one with is the carbon packages inside. I didn't get the carbon package inside. I have a carbon package outside, so that looks spectacular. Inside, I just wish, it's very dark, so I wish I had a little splash of color here or there, or at least some carbon fiber. I can always add that. It's got a front lift, which is a huge benefit. The up, crazy fast. I don't think I have any issues at all with up. I've never had a problem where I just drive slow when I'm trying to get to a parking lot. Hit the button, lifts up fast enough, I get in, no scrape. Down takes forever. There's little things like the seal on the driver's door keeps popping off, and then if it rains, a little water gets in, and it doesn't get inside of the car. It's just like the rim of it's like drenched. So like today I went to vacuum the car out and I leaned against the door and my shorts got wet. Like, for the price they charge for these cars, little things like that should be just a little better. There's no glove box, which on the surface is no big deal. There's 2 pockets on the inside on the doors for a little bit of storage and a very small center console. On road trips where I'm trying to put my wallet and a few other things, there's no real place to put stuff inside without it kind of falling all over. So it's a small problem. And I'm not even talking about the lack of cup holders and stuff for longer road trips to hold your water or something. I've accepted the fact that if I got a water bottle, it's got to be kind of on the side of me or somewhere else. The backup cameras, they take a little getting used to, because the main infotainment screen shows you a 360 view, which is really nice. And the actual gauges show you the backup camera, which when you get used to it, it's better than any other one I've had because you get the best of both worlds. It's got variable drift control when you're in track mode. So you can tell it how far you want it to let the butt slide out before it grabs a hold and make sure you don't spin out and hit a wall. Little touches, like it's annoying that you can't open the engine cover and look at it, but it's not really. They put a little mesh screen there, and what am I going to look at? Like plastic covers are all you see now on engines anyway. But they did put the mesh cover and then a little red LED, so at night it lights up. I actually like where the exhaust exits more on the 720 than I do on the 765 or the new coming out 750. I like it split a little bit with the McLaren name in the middle of it. I've never had this car overheat or even get close. I live in South Florida, it's hot. It's humid and hot, like cars overheat a lot. This car has never had any issues, and the AC blows amazingly cold air to where most times I'm at half speed of the fans because the size of this cockpit is so little, you get really cold really quick. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more McLaren stuff. My BMW is almost done. It's in a future video. You'll get to see all the stuff and the reason why it's been gone for a year. Stay tuned for that, and till next time, I'm out. Parked on the wrong side. It's on the driver's side in case you were wondering.